Hi, everybody. Here is your sports feed for this Thursday, and off the news of O.J. Simpson passing away. My recollection of O.J. Simpson was that I was with him a number of years when I worked at NBC Sports covering football for NBC, and O.J. was, of course, a big part of NBC's coverage. And I will relay to you that I had a fantastic time through the years with him, being in the booth with him, being at seminars with him, preparing for an NFL season. But it was a pretty amazing time that I'll always remember that I had a personal situation with O.J., and that was during the run when the Browns were battling the Denver Broncos in those classic AFC championship games. And it was the third time that they had played. Bud Carson was the head coach of the Browns. And like the previous game, it was out at Mile High Stadium in Denver. And I, though covering football for NBC at the time, was working for Channel 3 on that particular day. Well, the game was going on, and all of a sudden, an NBC official came up to the press box and tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Are you Jim Donovan?" I said, "Yes, I am." They said, "We need you downstairs right away." I went down into a trailer outside of Mile High Stadium. There was O.J. Simpson, Dick Ebersol, the president of NBC Sports, Ricky Diamond, who was producing the NFL postgame show that was coming up. Bob Costas had come down with a serious case of the flu and was unavailable to do the postgame show. He was that sick. And so they said, "Hey, Jimmy, we need to get you a navy blue blazer," because I had a different color blazer on, "and we need you to do locker room interviews along with O.J. Simpson." And I went, "Absolutely, okay." They found the navy blue blazer for me, and O.J. and I strided on our way outside to the locker room area. And all of a sudden, as the game was winding down, and unfortunately the Browns were losing that game on that particular day, O.J. grabbed me and the producer of the postgame show and said, "Hey, remember, Jimmy, Ricky, remember this, O.J. only talks to winners." And O.J. would do the winning locker room, and so then I had to go over and do the losing locker room. And that, of course, on that day, at least it was the Browns, and I knew the Browns. And so I interviewed Bernie Kosar, Webster Slaughter, and Bud Carson. But that was my one-on-one with O.J. on that particular day. O.J. only talks to winners, Jay.
You know, Jimmy, I never had the opportunity to meet or spend any time with him, but I've met and talked to many people that have. And the interesting thing about O.J., and you will know this well, is that there was such a dichotomy between what we saw of him in his personal life. You can't overstate how popular he was while he was playing in the 70s and then into the 80s and early 90s, and then what ultimately became his legacy. There was such a disconnect between the two.
Yeah, when I was doing, NBC games, and he was at that particular game, and Jay, as you know, if he was doing a pregame piece, and it was not a particular player or coach or owner that might be in the city that I was doing the game in that particular Sunday, then O.J. would be there, and he would do a live hit, as we say in the business, and introduce the piece, and then do, an explanation after the piece. So we would be with him all weekend long. And I mean, we would be with him for dinner, going over to the facilities and talking with the players and coaches. And wherever he went, whether it was with other NFL players or certainly fans, it was like a magnet. People just flooded to him, and he loved it. And he had so many different careers at that time. There was the player, but the young people loved him from the Hertz commercials,
right,
and the movies, and his television appearances. So he had all of that. And I mean, he was really one of the most recognizable people, I dare say, in the world at that time.
Yeah, and I don't know that you can find someone who in their lifetime was both so beloved and so despised later.
Absolutely, yeah.
Jim Donovan, thanks for those stories. We'll see you with sports coming up at 6 o'clock.
You will. Thanks.